You know, my friends, sometimes life has a strange way of humbling even the mightiest. And tonight, as I sit here sharing this with you, I can't help but think about how quickly fame fades and how silence feels when the music stops. Welcome to Celeb Club, I'm Nova, and this one feels different. It's not about glamour or power, it's about a man who once had everything, now fighting to be heard from behind cold gray walls. Sean Diddy Combs, a name once synonymous with wealth, music, and celebration, is now clinging to a small sliver of hope, an expedited appeal. Yes, you heard that right. After months of uncertainty and silence, a judge has finally agreed to fast-track his case. Now, before we get too excited, this doesn't mean he's walking free anytime soon. What it really means is that his no might just come sooner. It's strange, isn't it? To think that a man who once had the world at his feet is now celebrating something as small as a quicker answer. Even if that answer might break his heart. From the outside, it sounds like a victory, but deep down, it's just another reminder of how far he's fallen. According to court documents, the schedule for his appeal is set. Diddy's lawyers will file their opening brief right before Christmas, December 23rd to be exact. The government's response is due in February, and his final reply is expected in March. After that, the oral arguments could begin as early as April next year. Still, legal experts say that timeline might stretch into summer. Can you imagine spending Christmas not under the glow of a tree, but beneath the dim flicker of prison lights? While the world celebrates, he'll be in that cell, counting down to the day someone decides his fate. And even if he wins the appeal, which truthfully is rare, it won't erase the years already spent behind bars. It won't undo the whispers, the headlines, or the loneliness that must echo in those quiet nights. Inside Fort Dix prison, where he's serving his sentence, Diddy's daily life has become a far cry from his golden days. He's reportedly on laundry duty, folding uniforms instead of wearing designer suits. Gone are the flashing lights, the red carpets, the lavish parties. In their place are steel doors, strict routines, and the constant hum of correctional life. People close to him say that despite his smiles and calm demeanor, Diddy is struggling deeply. The man who once stood in control of everything is now adjusting to a world that strips you of all identity. You're not a star anymore. You're just another inmate in a system that doesn't care who you used to be. There's talk that he's been reaching out to anyone willing to listen, lawyers, family, old friends, anyone who could give him a sense of connection to the outside world. But as time passes, fewer people are answering those calls. Fame is a fair-weather friend. When the cameras stop rolling, so do the visits. But here's something interesting. Recently, photos surfaced showing Diddy chatting in the prison yard with a familiar face, former basketball player Sebastian Telfair. Some say they've known each other for years, and seeing that picture, it's almost like two worlds colliding. A fallen music mogul and a fallen sports star, both trying to hold on to fragments of who they used to be. People online made their usual jokes, of course, but beneath it all, there's something sad about it. These are two men who once represented success and glory, now reduced to whispers and headlines from behind barbed wire. And yet, there they are, smiling, perhaps trying to find comfort in a place where comfort barely exists. It's easy for the world to mock, to point fingers, to say, he had it coming. But let's pause for a moment. Imagine being at the top, with the world's applause in your ears, your name in lights, and then losing it all. The silence after that fall must be deafening. For Diddy, who built a life on noise, fame, and control, that silence might be the hardest punishment of all. Some insiders say the reason he's pushing so hard for this appeal is simple. He can't stand being forgotten. They say he walks around the prison with a kind of forced confidence, still trying to be Diddy, the larger-than-life figure, but deep down, it's not the same. Behind those forced smiles and polite nods, there's a man terrified that the world has already moved on. And maybe in a way it has. His fans, or what's left of them, are divided. Some say he's being treated unfairly. Others say justice is finally being served. But no matter which side you're on, one thing is certain. This is a man at war with himself. The appeal is not just about freedom. It's about redemption. It's about rewriting a story that has already been written in bold, tragic lines. It's about a man who refuses to believe that his final chapter will be written behind bars. Still, the legal road ahead is steep. Even with his wealth and connections, the system doesn't bend easily. His lawyers are some of the best, reportedly costing him millions, but money can't always buy mercy. And those millions? They're not endless. The longer this fight goes on, the smaller his empire becomes. What haunts me most, though, is how they say that behind every powerful man is a version of himself he never wanted the world to see. For Diddy, that version now wakes up every morning behind steel doors, surrounded by strangers who don't care what name once glowed on billboards. At Fort Dix Federal Prison, he's not a mogul anymore. He's inmate number, just another number among thousands. And that, perhaps, is the hardest truth of all. When Diddy first arrived at Fort Dix, sources say he struggled to adjust. The man who once traveled by private jet and performed for millions was suddenly assigned to laundry duty, sorting, folding, and carrying uniforms. The same hands that once held awards and champagne glasses now rinse and wring plain white shirts. It's humbling, even heartbreaking to imagine. He's described by those inside as polite but distant. He keeps to himself most of the time, spending hours in the corner of the prison yard, lost in thought. Some days he walks the track alone, whispering lyrics to himself like echoes of a life that once was. Others say he stares at the fence line, the one that separates the world he knew from the one he can never go back to. But here's the thing, even in confinement, old habits die hard. They say he still walks with that same slow confidence, chin up, shoulders back like the Diddy of old. It's almost as if he's trying to remind himself of who he used to be. Maybe it's his way of surviving, clinging to an identity that fame once gave him. Because when fame fades, identity can feel like the only thing left. And yet, beneath that calm surface, whispers say he's deeply miserable. The nights are long and heavy. Sleep doesn't come easy when your mind is filled with what-ifs and if-onlys. They say he lies awake, thinking about the choices that led him there. The betrayals, the arrogance, the moments when power blinded him to consequence. There's talk that he's been writing, journaling, reflecting, maybe even drafting letters he'll never send. Some say he's trying to rebuild his faith, though quietly, away from the eyes of others. It's strange, isn't it? How a man who once shouted his name to the world now whispers prayers in the dark. One thing that truly caught attention recently was that prison yard photo. Diddy standing with former NBA player Sebastian Telfair. It caused quite a stir online, but if you look past the noise, it's almost touching. Two fallen stars, two men who once knew the sweetness of applause, now sitting together on cold benches, talking about freedom, maybe even regret. You can almost imagine the silence between their laughter. The shared understanding that life can change in an instant. People on the outside like to joke, to point fingers, to say, he deserves it. But the truth is never that simple. No one truly knows what's in a man's heart when the doors close and the world forgets. Some say Diddy tries to help others inside, offering advice, even mentoring younger inmates who once admired him. Perhaps that's his way of holding on to meaning, of making sense of a life that spiraled out of control. Still, there's a deep loneliness that even the strongest can't escape. One guard reportedly said, he tries to look strong, but you can see it in his eyes. He misses being seen. Think about that for a moment. For a man who spent decades in the public eye, being unseen might be the greatest punishment of all. And it's not just about comfort or luxury, it's about identity. Fame became Diddy's reflection. Without it, he's a stranger to himself. The smile that once came naturally now feels practiced. The confidence that used to fill a room now fades the moment the lights go out. Even the people who once surrounded him, the celebrities, the business partners, the so-called friends, have quietly stepped away. The phones that used to ring nonstop now stay silent. Messages go unanswered. Invitations never come. The empire that once seemed indestructible has started to crumble piece by piece. Money still moves, of course. His lawyers continue their work, fighting for that expedited appeal, promising hope in exchange for millions. But hope can be a heavy thing to carry when the walls don't move. Every court date pushed back, every filing delayed. It's another reminder that even for the rich, time behind bars crawls painfully slow. The emotional toll, however, is something no money can ease. He's reportedly had moments of deep reflection, even tears, though he hides them well. The man who once demanded control now finds himself powerless over the smallest things. When to eat, when to sleep, when to speak. And that perhaps is the true lesson here. No matter how powerful you become, life always has a way of humbling you. Some inmates say Diddy still tries to spread positivity, organizing small talks in the yard, speaking about resilience and redemption. But others believe it's just his way of holding on, pretending to be in charge of something, even if it's just a conversation. Maybe both are true. Maybe he's finally realizing that influence isn't about money or fame, it's about connection. And in a place where everything is stripped away, connection is the only thing that keeps you human. As days turn into months, there's one thing Diddy reportedly fears above all else: being forgotten. For a man who once built his life on staying relevant, that fear cuts deep. Every news headline, every online discussion about him, even the negative ones, they remind him that somewhere out there, people still remember. And maybe that's why he's spending millions on his legal fight. It's not just about freedom, it's about being seen again. You see, my friends, prison changes people. It takes away the noise and forces you to face the person you truly are when there's no one left to impress. And in that silence, truth whispers louder than any crowd ever could. Diddy's story at its heart isn't just about crime or punishment, it's about reckoning. It's about a man confronting the pieces of himself he ignored for too long. Whether he'll find peace or continue to fight the world, no one can say. But one thing is clear. He's learning that sometimes the loudest power comes not from controlling others, but from finally surrendering control of yourself. As we move closer to his court hearing next year, the world will be watching. Some will watch hoping for justice, others for redemption. But for now, inside those walls, one man waits, waiting for a letter, a word, maybe even a miracle. As Diddy's appeal inches closer, hope flickers faintly like a candle in the wind. His legal team continues to push forward, arguing that time is short and that justice delayed is justice denied. But beneath those court filings and formal letters lies a truth far more human. Diddy is tired. Tired of pretending, tired of fighting, tired of being strong when all he wants is peace. They say fame is like fire, bright, beautiful, and dangerous. It can warm your soul or burn everything you've built. For decades, Diddy played with that fire. He lived for the lights, the luxury, the laughter that came when the cameras rolled. But fire doesn't stay gentle forever. When it turns, it leaves behind ashes. And that's where he stands now, among the ashes of a life once untouchable. Inside Fort Dix, the routines never change. The mornings are early, the air heavy and cold. Diddy walks the same hallway each day, past the same faces, hearing the same doors lock behind him. The pride that once filled his chest has turned into quiet acceptance. Some days, he even finds small comforts, the rhythm of laundry duty, the peace in solitude, the soft sound of distant chatter reminding him he's still alive. But when night comes, the truth hits hardest. Those who've been close to him say that nights are the loneliest part of his sentence. That's when he replays everything. The mistakes, the arrogance, the moments he ignored the voices that tried to warn him. Sometimes, they say, he whispers to himself, "I thought I had more time." Isn't that something we all say at some point? And while he sits there, the world he once knew keeps spinning without him. The red carpets are rolled out for new stars. The parties go on. The songs change. The world forgets easily, and fame, my friends, has no loyalty. The same people who cheered for you yesterday will scroll past your name tomorrow. That's the hardest lesson fame gives. It doesn't stay. Many of the people who once stood beside him, the ones who called themselves friends, have drifted away. A few still check in quietly, out of respect or nostalgia. But the grand circle of loyalty he once believed in is gone. And maybe in a painful way that's necessary. Sometimes, losing everyone around you is the only way to finally meet yourself. Those who've seen him up close say he's different now, slower, softer, humbled. He talks less and listens more. He doesn't brag or boast the way he used to. Maybe it's regret, or maybe it's growth. But there's a certain stillness in his eyes now, as if the weight of the years has finally settled in. His appeal will be heard next year, spring or maybe summer. If the judges rule against him, that may be the end of his legal road. If they grant it, it might mean another chance, another shot at redemption. Either way, what happens next will decide how history remembers him, as a fallen icon, or as a man who faced his demons and learned from them. You see, for all the headlines and controversies, this story isn't just about Diddy. It's about something universal. How quickly life can shift, how power fades, and how none of us are beyond consequence. Every one of us, no matter how rich or poor, famous or unknown, is only ever one decision away from losing everything. That's not judgment, it's truth. In the end, what matters isn't the luxury or the spotlight. It's how we treat people. It's the kindness we give when no one's watching. It's the peace we make with ourselves when the crowd is gone. For Diddy, that realization came too late. But maybe his story can still mean something. Maybe it reminds us all that grace and humility are worth more than gold. I often say fame reveals who you are, but downfall reveals what's left. And in Diddy's case, what's left now isn't power or pride. It's the man behind the name. A man sitting in a cold cell, thinking about the world outside, about the people who once loved him, and about how fragile everything truly is. Sometimes, I imagine him sitting by that narrow window in the evening, watching the sunset paint the sky in gold and orange, remembering the times he watched that same sun from the deck of a yacht or the balcony of a mansion. The same sun, but a different life. Maybe that's his quiet punishment, to realize that beauty never left the world, he just stopped seeing it. And maybe when his sentence ends, he'll walk out not as the star he once was, but as a man who finally understands the value of stillness, truth, and forgiveness. Not everyone gets a second chance, but everyone deserves the wisdom that comes with the fall. So as we close this story, let's not just see Diddy as a name in a headline. Let's see him as a mirror, a reflection of what happens when we chase everything and forget what really matters. Because at the end of the day, we all face our own reckonings. Some happen in quiet rooms, some behind locked doors, and some in our own hearts. This is Nova, and you've been watching Celeb Club. Thank you for walking through this story with me. Not just as spectators, but as human beings who understand that even in the fall of others, there are lessons for us all. If you've been touched by this story, remember to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and join me again next time as we explore more of the truths hidden behind the glittering walls of fame. Until then, take care of your hearts, hold on to your peace, and never forget, every story, no matter how dark, can lead to light.